Learning outcomes. Culture is the essence of a society. This model will concentrate on various aspects of culture, and after going through this, you shall be able to explain the concept and nature of culture, highlight the forms of communication, verbal and non-verbal, describe the international dimension of culture, compare the cross-cultural behavior, analyze the implications of cross-culture behavior in international business. Introduction. Culture is acquired knowledge that people use to interpret experience and generate social behavior. It is transmitted through the process of learning and interacting with one's environment rather than through the genetic process. We understand other cultures through our own culture or through a cultural lens. Attitudes are always precursors of human behavior. Our own cultural foundation is influenced by interaction with people from other cultures in the same way as their cultural foundations are influenced by their interaction with people. In its broadest sense, culture refers to the result of human interaction. So, first of all, understanding the different aspects of the culture is important. The knowledge, understanding and perspective of culture are valuable for doing business in local market, but it is more significant for international business. Despite the various patterns and processes of globalization, cultural differences amongst countries still remain important. Next is the concept and nature of culture. Culture is an abstract concept. Culture has been defined in many ways by various authors and researchers. Culture relates to values, beliefs, customs, morals, norms, attitudes, traditions, etc. Continuous changes are taking place in all these aspects of culture. Hans Gullestrup 2006 has defined culture in the following words. Culture is the philosophy of life, the values, norms and rules and actual behavior as well as the material and immaterial products from these which are taken over by man from the past generations and which man wants to bring forward to the next generation, eventually in a different form, and which in one way or another separate individuals belonging to the culture from individuals belonging to other cultures. He emphasizes culture as a particular grouping of people's conscious or unconscious attempts to find a way to meet their social and physical needs as individuals or as a member of the organization or a nation under given environmental conditions. Often different cultures exist side by side within countries, especially in India. Nature of culture. Most scholars of culture agree on the following traits of culture. First, learned. Culture comes through learning and experiencing. Second, shared. Culture is shared as it is not for only one person. Third, patterned. The pattern of culture is holistic and one has to adopt it as a whole, because if one changes a part of culture, then other parts must be automatically changed. Fourth is adaptive. People adapt to their environment through cultural strategies rather than genetic predispositions. In this world, many forms of the culture are present, which results in profound and limitless cultural differences. Cultures directly influence the people. Culture can change the technology, attitude, decision and bring innovative ideas and can even affect the government relationship. The important aspect of culture is how people perceive the things, behave and human capacity that the person wants to change or adopt it. Culture is not something that is easily acquired. It is a slow process of growing into a society. It includes first, learning values, that is dominant beliefs and attitudes. Second, partaking of rituals, that is collective activities. Third, modeling against heroes, that is role models. And fourth is understanding symbols, that is myths, legends, dress, jargon, lingo, etc. These traits of culture are acquired from birth. They are influenced by family, school, religion, workplace, friends, television, newspapers and books, and many other sources. Some scholars have pointed out numerous attributes of cultures. Some of them are: first, aesthetics indicates a culture's sense of beauty and good taste. Second, attitudes and values. Every country differs from each other in respect to the attitudes, beliefs and values towards time, direct speaking and shyness, value of silence versus boldness, achievement, work ethic, gift giving, bribes, inducements, considerations, change, history, respect for government and authority. Third, religion. It has a great influence on the lifestyles, beliefs, values and attitudes of the people. Different people follow different religions and each religion has its own concept about the different things. Fourth is language. Language is the top and most important attribute in a culture. Verbal and non-verbal language of every country differs from each other. Language and culture are in a close relationship and there exist language families of the world. Fifth, customs and conventions. All cultures have their own unique set of customs and taboos. Conventions and customs are standards of behavior that are socially approved but not morally significant. Sixth is material and non-material culture. This relates to the role of technology, education, the role of women, level of influence of class or caste on a society. Seventh is law and practices. This is essential for understanding the culture of a country. A law is a norm that is written down and enforced by an official law enforcement agency. Laws are derived from multiple sources and practice of law and jurisdiction depends on culture. It reflects the value of society in which it is made and changes with them. The law does not exist in a vacuum and is not a static entity. Eighth, social structure. This means the way people relate to each other. For example, extended families, units, kinship, role of women, class or caste. Every culture has a social structure. In India, a fully established and rigid caste system prevails and it is more difficult to move upward in a social structure that is rigid. These ingredients of culture, religion, values, attitude, education, social organization, technology, law and practices, aesthetics and language are very relevant to understand the nature of culture of a country. Our actions are based on assumptions, beliefs and values. Cultures will be stable until any event occurs that will have a negative impact on the culture. Next is communication, verbal and non-verbal. Communication is the use of messages to produce meaning within and across a variety of contexts. Humans communicate in a variety of ways, both verbally and non-verbally. Although most communications between humans is non-verbal. Both types of communication differ significantly between genders and across cultures. We must always be aware of the ambiguous nature of communication between people. Cross or intercultural communication is very important in all types of interpersonal interactions. Broadly, communication takes two forms, verbal and non-verbal. Verbal communication is best suited to convey specific information and is better suited to communication through technology over long distances. Non-verbal communication is more immediate than verbal communication, but its meaning is typically more ambiguous, notwithstanding the fact that certain forms of non-verbal communication, such as the use of the eyes, can convey emotions more effectively than words can. Some technological means of communication, such as film, can effectively convey many forms of non-verbal communication. With the global use of new technologies like video cameras on PCs, SMS and other mini blogging sites, such as Twitter, it has become imperative to know how these tools affect virtual cross-cultural communication. Many people affirm that human communication consists of 93% of non-verbal behavior and paralanguage and only 7% from words. The following are major forms of verbal and non-verbal communications. Verbal communication: voice volume, voice quality, voice tone, voice intonation, voice rhyme, voice speed, reflections, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammatical structure, informal and formal language, and dialect. Non-verbal communication: touch, facial expressions, eye contact, sounds, gestures, posture, body movement, reflexes, silence, use of space, that is personal and social, appearance, and cultural artifacts. The difference between these two types is the difference between doing and communicating about doing. It is the general perception that non-verbal communication is continuous while verbal communication is discontinuous. Moreover, verbal activity never stands alone, it is always joined by non-verbal actions. Non-verbal action can be dynamic and spontaneous, and usually it is patterned by respective culture. In contemporary context, multinational corporations provide diverse working situations where even if there is no language barrier, cross-cultural communication becomes one of the most challenging aspects of the cultural diversity management. Next is international dimension of culture. The most significant cross-cultural study is the one carried out by Geert Hofstede 1991. According to Hofstede, cultural differences tends to spin around 5 key dimensions. These dimensions characterize cross-cultural differences and play a vital role in understanding the national culture as well as the corporate culture. However, these dimensions do not give sufficient information about the cultural differences, and Hofstede believes additional dimensions should continue to be added. These are discussed below. Power distance, that is PD. Power distance indicates the extent to which a culture accepts that power in organizations is distributed unequally. High power distance equates with steep organizational hierarchies, with more autocratic leadership and less employee participation in decision making. Power distance is the amount of power distributed by the culture between the management and their subordinates. The phenomenon of the management being always right is not applicable in the low power distance culture, where management does not like to suppress subordinates. On the other hand, under a high power distance management considers itself always being right and superior to the others in the organization. It does not delegate its authority to others, the decisions being always on a centralized basis. The management sees itself on one level while its subordinates on an inferior level. Companies hold large distances between ranks in an organization. Communications are likely to be through the command chain rather than direct. The West, US, Israel are low power distance culture where workers can generally approach boss and vice versa, while China, Saudi Arabia and India are considered high power distance cultures. Next is individualism versus collectivism, that is IC. The idea of individualism is based on the philosophy that one is the owner of his or her life and he and she has an absolute right to live it according to his wishes and desires, and he has the choice to pursue the values he or she considers best for himself or herself. It indicates the extent to which people are supposed to take care of themselves and be emotionally independent from others. Whereas the idea of collectivism is based on the concept that life on an individual does not belong to him or her, but belong to the group or society of which he or she is a part. This is a measure of whether people prefer to work alone or in groups. It indicates the degree of social or community integration. In USA and in the West, people prefer singular achievement. This comes from a cultural upbringing which expects people to be independent at a very early age. On the other hand, in India, people prefer to work in groups and ascribe performance as a cooperative achievement. The lifestyle in India is largely hovers around close family ties with strong community support. Companies in US and in the West focus on individualism, while in India and West Africa they focus on collectivism. Next is masculinity versus femininity. Masculinity states a male dominant country, society or culture. For example, Asian countries are masculinity based. This refers to the degree to which masculine traits like authority, assertiveness and performance and material success are preferred. Under femininity, feminine values of personal relationships, caring, modesty and quality of life are preferred. Those countries where the rights of women are equal to men are femininity based countries. For example, in Western countries, men and women work equally to earn and women have equal rights at the workplace. India and Japan are male oriented. Workplaces are likely to be autocratic. Whereas in US and the West, people are likely to show more empathy for their fellow workers. They are likely to spend more time on relationships and personal ties. Next is uncertainty avoidance, known as UA. UA is the degree to which members of a society feel uncomfortable with risk and uncertainty. Uncertainty avoidance states that people avoid participation in the activities about which they are not sure that they will benefit them. People with high UA will require structure and order with clear rules and guidelines. People in these countries will be reluctant to make decisions and they will require very structured work routines. They have no tolerance towards risk. Pakistan, India and Arab countries have such a type of culture, while on the other hand countries that have low uncertainty avoidance and they have more tolerance to risk. Japan has a low uncertainty avoidance culture. They can work well without structure and will have a high tolerance for ambiguity as they tend to emphasize flexibility and informality rather than bureaucracy. Next is long-term versus short-term orientation, that is LSTO. The short-term orientation culture provides importance to present. When someone is focused on future and is willing to postpone short-term material or social success for the sake of long-term achievements, then this perception is known as long-term orientation, and this culture has its value persistence and perseverance. The people of the short-term orientation give value to the social obligation, tradition and current social hierarchy. The present gratification, success and achievement are more important than the future. Trompénar's 7 Dimensions of Culture. Fons Trompénar's 1994 build on Hofstede's work by expanding the framework for stereotyping and comparing different national cultures and by focusing more on management implications of cultural differences. His 7 dimensions are: first, universalism versus particularism; second, individualism versus collectivism; third, neutral versus emotional; fourth, specific versus diffuse; fifth, achievement versus ascription; sixth, attitudes toward time; and seventh, attitudes toward the environment. Trompénar's 1994 7 dimensions have been used in a variety of ways to gain insight into the kind of problems that might arise in different contexts. They are also used to measure changes in cultural values and behavior over time. The Globe project's 9 dimensions of culture. More recent research has been conducted by the Global Leadership and Organizational Behavior Effectiveness, known as GLOBE. The GLOBE project has provided 9 cultural dimensions. First, assertiveness; second, future orientation; third, gender differentiation; fourth, uncertainty avoidance; fifth, power distance; sixth, institutional collectivism, that is individualism versus collectivism; seventh, in-group or family collectivism; eighth, performance orientation, much like the achievement orientation; and ninth, the human orientation, that is fairness, altruism and generosity. Countries positioning by the dimensions of power distance, uncertainty avoidance, individualism or collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, and long versus short term orientation do not expose all differences among cultures or countries but do sum up the greater part. Hofstede's, Trompinars, and the Globe researchers have constructed useful frameworks for understanding broad differences between national cultures, which underpin differences in the design of organizations and the behavior of managers and employees. However, one must be aware of rather than blindly accepting the above kind of research. Next is the comparison of cross-cultural behavior, country clusters, convergence and divergence of cultures. The study of culture is complex and this complexity increases while studying cross or intercultural behavior. Bartels identified several criteria for identification of cultural differences like law, respect for individuality, nature of power and authority, rights of property, concept of deity, relation of individual to state, national identity and loyalty, and values, customs and mores. Hans Gullestrup 2006 has pointed out following 4 observations or facts which highlight to the intricacies of cross-cultural analysis. First, the relativity of each culture, the cultural hierarchy, for example, Indian, Western, Islamic and other cultures. Second is the coincidence of the cultures, the cultural categories. Third is the changeability of each culture, that is the cultural dynamic. Fourth, the ethical problems related to cross-cultural behavior. What can we allow ourselves to do in other cultures? Considering these factors, Hans Gullestrup points out 4 dimensions of a culture: the horizontal, the vertical, the dynamic and the ethical. The complexity of cross-cultural relations arise because of the relativity of cultures and coincidence of the cultures. The relativity of cultures refers to national culture or macro culture like Indian, Western, Islamic and other cultures. In this way, we have to consider a hierarchy of different layers within a certain category of culture. However, it would be difficult to identify whether the people involved in a cross-cultural relationship consider one another to be at the same layer in the hierarchy. This complexity is also caused by the fact that people are not only to be considered as members or part of one category of culture, but of many different cultural categories at the same time. Hans Gullestrup refers this as the coincidence of cultures. The dynamics of cultures or the changeability of culture. It must be borne in mind that culture is not static. Both external and internal forces constantly initiate pressure for change. Ultimately, whether a change does occur and the direction such a change would take will depend on another set of determining factors of change. The external factors of change in a culture brings changes in both natural conditions and conditions in other cultures, whereas the internal factors of change are developed within the culture observed like internal research, technological development, trade and industry. In this context, the important point to understand is the degree of integration in the culture observed which relates to the existing values and the degree of homogeneity of the culture in question. But one must not overlook the existing power structure within the culture as it has also an important role in change. In today's culture of globalization, cultures are integrated around values like liberal, economic and individual freedom. One may synthesize horizontal, vertical and dynamic cultural dimensions into a vibrant whole which will provide a partial picture of the cultural reality. In the end, through this synthesis of 3 cultural dimensions, categories and hierarchies, one get a picture of a more complex cultural reality. In this complex cultural reality, trade and industry are important components which also contribute to the changes in the cultures. In sum, one must agree with Hans Gullestrup that cross-cultural relationship is not only a complex situation, but it is also a unique situation which has to be understood individually in each case. Culture is far too complex to be studied only from the viewpoint of one specific scientific school or to be based on one specific paradigm. Different paradigms and a different understanding of culture depends on the situation and the purpose. Implications of cross-culture behavior. Culture is environmental uncontrollable. Culture is one of the most difficult to comprehend, take account of and harness to advantage. This is particularly so when the product or service is culture bound. Such products and services include those which are generally indigenous by nature and or of relatively small value and very common. This is particularly true of the foodstuffs. However, products of a more technical nature like computers on the other hand have a universal appeal. Culture is very often hidden from the view and can be easily overlooked. Similarly, the need to overcome cultural myopia is paramount. The degree to which companies are culturally aware in international business depends on whether the product or service is a consumer product or an industrial product. Culture pervades all elements of the marketing, mix product, pricing, promotion and distribution, and the acceptability of each of these elements will be judged in the context of culture that the companies are targeting. Culture plays a very important role to motivate employees in the workforce. The value of culture lies in management practices including negotiation tactics, decision making and rewards and recognition programs. Other management soft skills such as motivation, making decisions and rewarding employees depends on the cultural factors as well. Successful managers of international companies need to understand motivation, leadership, communication, conflict and other behavioral issues that arise in cross-national and cross-cultural context. The ability to address these issues depends on an understanding of the host culture's values. As stated by Geert Hofstede, culture is more often a source of conflict than of synergy. Cultural differences are a nuisance at best and often a disaster. Understanding cultural issues is critical to international management in general, but culture plays a particularly important role in building an understanding outside the home country. The task of the global business manager is to find the similarities and difference in culture and account for these in designing and developing business plans. Failure to do so can be disastrous. Cross-culture study is becoming more and more important as understanding culture can equip person for the challenges of contemporary international business even within the national context. Moreover, recognizing the importance of cultural differences helps the managers understand their international partners and competitors and ultimately help to improve their managerial skills. Companies engaged in international operations should be aware of the importance of context in various countries. Context indicates the level in which communication occurs outside of the verbal discussion. Summary. Human behaviors are driven by the values, beliefs and attitudes, and it is helpful to consider how these invisible aspects of culture drive the behavior we can see. Culture is the shared norm and values of any society. It reflects customs, traditions, beliefs and religion of any group of people. The culture of a country is called the national culture, reflecting the overall religion's belief, customs and traditions of a country. Attributes of cultures are religion, values, attitudes, education, social organization, technology, law and practices, aesthetics and language. Hofstede's cultural differences tend to spin around 5 key dimensions: individualism versus collectivism, power distance, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, and long-term versus short-term orientation. Trompinars and the Globe framework is very much an extension of Hofstede's approach. The Globe researchers have examined the HRM implications of these cultural differences, and we should be aware of rather than blindly accepting the results of the researchers. When communicating verbally, men tend to seek and offer solutions while women tend to focus on empathy. This is a reflection of the fact that men are more goal oriented while women are more relationship oriented. Communication is the use of message to produce meaning within and across a variety of contexts. Humans communicate in a variety of ways, both verbally and non-verbally. Both types of communication differ significantly between genders and across cultures. Although most communication between humans is not verbal, non-verbal communication is determined by our social cultural environment. It takes various forms like touch, glance, eye contact, volume, vocal nuisance, proximity, gestures, postures, facial expressions, pause, silence, intonation, dress, smell, word choice and syntax, and sounds. It is not easy to provide a list of all non-verbal actions. More than ever before, multicultural companies need to be educated and trained to the subplots of non-verbal communications, including potentially powerful gestures and even silence. Culture affects many aspects of international business communication. Cultural awareness shapes how business firms behave in cross-culturally reflected international markets. It is broadly recognized that cultural factors act as invisible barriers in international business communication. Understanding cultural differences is one of the most significant skills for firms to develop in order to have a competitive advantage in international business. Culture impact free trade policies, localization and standardization strategy decisions, advertising, brand effectiveness, business relations, international business management, international marketing, international negotiations and consumer behaviors.